Good day, Googlets. Today we're off to Australia, land of kangaroos, koalas, emus, and camels. Yep, the land down under is full of surprises. Fact number 1. Camels in Australia? When you picture camels, you might think of the Sahara or the Middle East. But surprise, Australia is home to a massive population of camels, so many that they export them to Saudi Arabia. Camels were brought to Australia by European settlers in the 1800s to help explore the arid interior. Today, there are over 1 million camels roaming the outback, and they've even outnumbered koalas. Australia has gone from being the land of Skippy the bush kangaroo to Randy the bush camel. Imagine a camel in Saudi Arabia with an Aussie accent saying, "Mate, I'm here to show you how it's done." Next thing you know, they'll be shipping snow to Antarctica. Fact number 2. The Endless Road. Australia has the world's longest highway, Highway 1, stretching a mind-blowing 14,500 kilometers. This highway circles the whole continent and covers every type of landscape you can imagine. A road trip along Highway 1 would take about 3 weeks, even if you're pushing pedal to the metal. You'd pass through deserts, rainforests, beach towns, and cities. Road trip goals, anyone? I can already hear the kids. Are we there yet? Nope, just 14,000 kilometers to go. Don't worry, we'll be home by Christmas, 2 years from now. Fact number 3. Driving on the wrong side. Like the UK and Japan, Australia drives on the left side of the road, with the steering wheel on the right side. If you're used to driving on the right, it can be a little disorienting. Imagine trying to turn on the windshield wipers, but ending up with your blinkers flashing instead. Everything is backwards, but hey, it's all part of the adventure. Let's be honest, half the tourists spend their first week just muttering, "Other left, other left." It's practically a rite of passage. Fact number 4. The Mystery Bookstore. Book lovers, this one's for you. In Australia, there's a bookstore where every single book is wrapped in plain brown paper. You don't get to see the cover, just the title and author's name. It's like a blind date with literature, and you never know what you're getting until you start reading. This bookstore is all about not judging a book by its cover. Literally. Imagine buying what you think is a romance novel, only to find out it's a horror story. Surprise! Looks like you've fallen in love with fear. Fact number 5. Special forces for penguins. When endangered penguins on Middle Island were under attack from foxes, Australia called in some serious protection. Snipers. For an entire year, trained marksmen were stationed to keep the penguins safe from predators. Imagine being a penguin with your own special forces detail. Talk about VIP treatment. Picture a penguin waddling around with a sniper whispering, "Don't worry, little buddy. I've got your back." These penguins are living the high life. Fact number 6. The selfie capital. Australia is the birthplace of the word selfie. Back in 2002, an Australian coined the term in an online post, and it took off worldwide. Aussies have a knack for adding "e" to words, like Barbie for barbecue, brekkie for breakfast, and now selfie for self-portrait. Australians really know how to make everything sound just a little friendlier. Next up, we'll be calling sandwiches, sandwichies, and coffee, coffees. Pink Lake Glam. Lake Hillier in Western Australia is a lake that's naturally pink. This magical color comes from a type of algae in its salty waters. Unlike most Instagram-worthy spots, this lake doesn't need a filter. It's already as pink as bubblegum. Scientists say it's safe to swim in, so you can have your Barbie pink lake adventure without worrying. Did you add food coloring to that lake? Nope, Australia just likes to keep things fabulous. Fact number 8. The Great Emu War. Believe it or not, Australia once waged a full-on war against emus in 1932. Thousands of emus were damaging crops, so the military was called in. Armed with machine guns, the soldiers tried to control the emu population, but the birds outsmarted them. After a month, the military had to admit defeat. To this day, the emus are the only animals to have officially defeated an army. Who needs special ops when you've got emus? Australia, 2 world wars, 1 emu war, and the birds took the win. Fact number 9. Tewe tribe marriages. The tewe people in northern Australia arrange marriages as soon as girls are born. The idea is to ensure every child has a future partner, but they don't marry until they're of age. It's a tradition rooted in the culture, and it's all about keeping family bonds strong. Imagine a newborn getting her marriage license before she even gets her first tooth. It's like saying, "Congrats, kid, here's your partner for life." Fact number 10. Bunnies gone wild. Rabbits were introduced to Australia by settlers and, well, they multiplied. By the 1950s, the rabbit population hit 600 million, wreaking havoc on crops and land. Scientists developed a virus to control them, but the surviving rabbits grew immune and kept breeding. To this day, rabbits are a constant challenge for Australia. Australia versus rabbits, round 2. Those rabbits are like, "Is that all you got?" They've taken the phrase "multiply like rabbits" to a whole new level. Fact number 11. Mandatory voting. In Australia, voting is mandatory. If you don't show up to the polls without a valid excuse, you're looking at a fine. Voting day is a big event, with barbecues or sausage sizzles at polling places to make it a fun experience. Democracy is serious business down under. Imagine getting a ticket. "Sir, you owe $50 for not choosing between the parties." Fact number 12. Split cash, half the value. If you tear an Australian $10 bill in half, each half can be used as $5. They're made from a special plastic polymer, so they're almost indestructible, unless you have scissors, that is. It's probably the only currency in the world that you can split without losing value. Who knew scissors could double as a money management tool? Just don't try that at your bank. Fact number 13. Kangaroos outnumber people. There are more kangaroos in Australia than there are people. With around 50 million kangaroos, they're practically everywhere. They're such a big part of the landscape that it's not uncommon to see kangaroo crossing signs on the road, like deer crossings in the US. In some areas, kangaroos are such frequent road visitors that people are encouraged to drive cautiously, especially at dawn and dusk when roos are most active. They're as much a part of Australia's identity as the Sydney Opera House, and for good reason. Kangaroos are everywhere. Imagine being in a kangaroo traffic jam. Hop to it, mate, you're holding up the queue. Or picture a roo cutting you off and bouncing away like, "See ya, slowpoke." Fact number 14. New Year's 3 times. Here's one for all the party animals out there. Australia is so big and so spread out that you can celebrate New Year's Eve 3 times in one night. That's right. If you're in the right spot on the border where 3 states meet, you can celebrate midnight. Take a few steps in a different direction, and it's midnight all over again. And if that's not enough, Australia is one of the first countries in the world to ring in the new year. So really, Aussies get the party started before almost everyone else on the planet. Imagine getting 3 countdowns, 3 midnight kisses, and 3 rounds of fireworks. Just don't forget what year you're in by the end of it. You might accidentally party into the next year. Fact number 15. Kid-friendly fireworks. Sydney, one of Australia's largest cities, has a New Year's tradition that's all about the kiddos. Instead of just one fireworks show at midnight, they have 2. One at 9 p.m. for families with young kids, and the main event at midnight for everyone else. It's the perfect way to let kids enjoy the celebration without staying up too late. And let's be honest, sometimes adults can use the extra sleep too. Sydney's famous fireworks show over the Harbour Bridge and Opera House is one of the most iconic New Year's celebrations in the world, and they make sure everyone gets to enjoy it, no matter their bedtime. Meanwhile, kids around the world are watching the ball drop on TV while mom says, "Go to bed, it's only 8 p.m. But in Sydney, even the toddlers get their own countdown. Fact number 16. The lyrebird, sound mimic extraordinaire. Australia is home to the lyrebird, a feathered mimic with skills that would put even the best impressionists to shame. This incredible bird can replicate almost any sound it hears, from chainsaws and car engines to camera shutters and even crying babies. Scientists have studied us in the wild and have heard lyrebirds mimicking sounds from the city and other animals, sometimes even the clicks of cameras. It's nature's prankster, and if you're out in the bush, don't be surprised if you hear a familiar sound and find out it's just a lyrebird showing off its vocal range. Imagine a lyrebird deciding to mimic an alarm clock or a baby's cry while you're camping. Now that's one wake-up call you won't sleep through. Fact number 17, the Whispering Wall. One of Australia's most unique landmarks is the Whispering Wall in South Australia, a dam with near-perfect acoustics. If you stand at one end of the dam and whisper, people 100 meters away on the other side can hear you as if you were standing right next to them. Built in the early 1900s, this acoustic marvel wasn't intended to be a giant whispering post, but its unique shape and materials make it a natural phenomenon. It's a popular spot for tourists, and it's easy to see why. Who wouldn't want to test out nature's very own telephone? Perfect for whispering secrets or playing a game of "Did you hear?" Just don't forget, there might be someone listening on the other side, ready to spill the beans. Fact number 18. Meetiscus the Footballer. In 1999, an Australian football player took sponsorship deals to a whole new level by officially changing his name to Whiskas. Yes, like the cat food brand. It was part of a sponsorship deal with a pet food company, and for the entire season, every time the commentators mentioned him, they had to use the name Whiskas. Imagine watching a football match and hearing Whiskas passes the ball. The player was happy to do it, but he did revert to his real name once the season ended. It's safe to say that this is one sponsorship that definitely left an impression. Just picture the commentators. Whiskas kicks the ball, and it's a perfect pass. Now that's a feline endorsement. Fact number 19. Compass-free navigation. In an indigenous Australian tribe, there's no concept of left or right. Instead, they navigate solely using cardinal directions like north, south, east, and west. Even kids in this tribe are taught to navigate without a compass, learning from a young age to always keep track of where they are. It's a skill that most people around the world would struggle with, but to them, it's second nature. In fact, members of the tribe are known to instantly identify directions no matter where they are. Talk about a built-in GPS. Forget turn left or take a right. These folks would just tell you, head north. Talk about always being a step ahead, literally. Fact number 20. Upside-down maps. In Australia, maps sometimes look a little flipped. Instead of the usual north at the top orientation, many maps in Australia put south at the top and north at the bottom. Why? Because when you're down under, it just makes sense to put Australia on top. This quirky map perspective helps Aussies remember that, from their point of view, the rest of the world is upside down. It's a fun way for Australians to assert their unique place on the globe and remind everyone else that they're not actually down, they're just in a different hemisphere. Imagine being a tourist looking at one of these maps for the first time. Wait, south is up? Am I upside down too? Total confusion, Aussie style. And that's all for today, Googlets. Thank you, or just ta, as they say in Australia. Australia really is full of incredible surprises, from camels to compass-free directions, and even kangaroos who outnumber the locals. If you love these quirky facts, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode of Googlets. And see you next time for another country's most amazing, weird, and wonderful facts.